Ryan Rollins has forced my hand. He had 30 points as the Giannis-less Bucks beat the Warriors tonight. I have no choice but to make a video about this game, which was genuinely unfathomably good. And it was littered with star on-ball creator possessions like this one that really just made my jaw drop watching this tape back earlier tonight, where Rollins is first just reading out the coverage. His handle is so good right now. Steph obviously thinks he's going back to AJ Green. Kuminga thinks that he's going to have Steph for a second there longer. Rollins reads that, hey, there's a split second of confusion and a lane for me to attack into. And then, oh my goodness, the Euro step. He has star movement skills, really. I swear to God, like the tight space coordination to make it through right there. Finish with his weak left hand. Like, that is star shit right there. And I think the foundation of what he does is his driving game. He's so fast, so quick, so explosive. And this was another one of those plays early in the game against Draymond Green in early offense. And Ryan Rollins is going to bust out a beautiful move. A little misdirect right here, stabbing with his outside left foot right here to kind of bait Draymond a little bit this way. And then he does the low pickup to kind of get some space. Is that a wrong foot finish? Yeah, it is a wrong foot finish, right? Right hand, right foot to throw off the timing of Green as a rim protector, and he ends up getting the and one there. And Rollins is genuinely playing like a star. It's insanity. On offense, like, he's always been really good. I think Rollins has been underrated for a long time, but this is wild. And if you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. All will be so appreciated. And let me know what your favorite, like, storyline thing of the NBA season so far is. This probably is mine at the moment. 150 likes. Yeah, let's get 150 likes on this one as we keep discussing and contextualizing the crazy stuff that Ryan Rollins did as Milwaukee's full-fledged primary initiator in this game, where he's getting Jimmy Butler switched onto him. He's stepping through. He's scooping with his left hand. Like, it's not just burst and speed and explosiveness. It's also skill. His command of pace is great. You can see, again, the bump, the physicality, the step through, the craft, the footwork. Like, he looked like a complete creator in this game. He also had 8 assists and 1 turnover, which we'll get to. But the burst really hurt Golden State's defense, where Kuminga oftentimes, and it looked like the Warriors were like icing, not necessarily icing, but just playing the sideline. And Rollins is way too quick. His first step is just too fast to give space like that. And I know they have Jimmy set to come help and Steph to kind of zone between these defenders, but like, Rollins could just Euro step right through, coordinate, hang in midair, and draw a foul. Like, he has these, like I said, these movement skills, the flexibility, the change of speed and direction to just bust up this Warriors defensive coverage. And a very similar play right here for the first points of the game. But shout out to the Bucks running this action on the, I guess it's technically kind of the strong side, right? Miles Turner setting a little pin for Gary Trent. That action occupies Kuminga for a second. He sticks his hand out because he thinks Rollins might be passing to Gary Trent, who is open right here. He can pass to him on the curl, but Rollins reads that, explodes past him. And again, watch this shin angle, like how low he gets to the ground. The torso is almost parallel. The shin right here is actually parallel, looks like, for a second right there. Like, crazy movement skills. And he's able to keep Kuminga, a much bigger, stronger, taller defender, at bay. And even when the shots weren't going in, he just looked so controlled getting to his spots, where Rollins has Al Horford switched onto him, stops, goes, tries to use the Bobby Portis seal. This is a great step up by Moses Moody, though. And he's not like the most incredible vertical athlete in tight space. So that's probably like the biggest limitation of his athleticism. Like, he's not a crazy bouncy guy. Doesn't really get a lot of blocks or like rebounds for that reason. And there's some moments where he struggles in traffic, and there's a reason he relies on like the glidey stride length stuff to finish as well as he did. But even on a lot of these missed shots, I thought he was really like under control, and I didn't hate his decision making at all. This was more good Bucks offense, setting a kind of just quick away flare for Rollins, get him working downhill in space, They switch Quentin Post onto him, and he's like, yeah, I'll take that little mid-range jumper. And he was certainly feeling it, and we'll see plenty of mid-range jumpers throughout this game. Don't you worry. And Ryan Rollins is also an excellent playmaker. He is a legitimate point guard, as the Warriors like oddly struggled to guard these three-man actions that the Bucks were throwing. It's like kind of a double drag, really, but it's really one screen here for Kuzma and Green just kind of going from one side of the court to the other just to create some movement, because the Warriors want to switch this. They want to pass these off. They want to have Moses Moody take Rollins. They want to have Kuminga take Kuzma, and they want Steph to stick with AJ Green. But again, that creates some confusion. Rollins blows by, Draymond steps up, and that is a high level pass on the move against tight coverage to Miles Turner for the wide open three, like point guard level stuff. And Rollins has been a ridiculous pick and roll creator. This is a graph this is a chart I threw together, and it should be up and posted. And these are the high volume pick and roll players. Obviously small sample, but there are 13 players who have run at least 15 pick and rolls per game, including passes. Ryan Rollins is third in efficiency, and these are all like all-stars, or like Austin Reeves is playing like an all-star. Giddey like is a high volume guy. You can see the efficiency, and Rollins is like at the bottom of this in terms of volume. Like Luka's running 11 more pick and rolls than him per game. But in terms of frequency, this is more like almost 60% of Ryan Rollins' play type. We're like Shea 10% fewer because he does more like ISOs and post-ups and stuff. But obviously super small sample, and I don't read into this a ton, but like the improvement is crazy. 19 a game on 66 true shooting, 5 assists, 2.4 steals, free throw attempts way up, rim attempts way up, mid-range, 3-point, like really, really impressive. And he also has one of the highest defensive loads in the league if we look. 95th in the league in contests per 100 so far. Obviously, again, don't put so much into these small sample stats, but they do match the eye tests, and we'll talk a little bit about his defense at the end. This is mostly an offense video, but just know that Ryan Rollins was like full court pressing Steph Curry and chasing him around screens the entire game while he was doing this. But a lot of Rollins' pick and roll efficiency is simple, and like some of it is because of the Bucks' good shooters and that they're running a good offense right now, but he is just, the ability to create paint touches and make good decisions out of those is such a valuable skill, especially when you can shoot the way that Ryan Rollins is shooting right now. But Al Horford has to kind of stick with Ryan Rollins because Buddy Hield is beat. He is burnt toast on this play. Like, this is a layup if Al Horford isn't helping over, and that leaves Bobby Portis wide open. And also, notice this great cut by Cole Anthony. It's a subtle thing, but right, if Cole stays here, Will Richard can easily get out to Bobby Portis, and then they can kind of play scramble. But because Cole cuts with him, Will Richard is incentivized to move away, and that just creates way more space for Bobby Portis, who ends up getting a contested shot anyway because the pass wasn't perfectly on target. But as you can see, actually, at the end of this clip right here, Ryan Rollins loading up to guard Steph Curry full court, as he was doing, like I said, the entire game while he was primary creating. It was crazy impressive. Another just simple play where we see Rollins' burst really scramble this switching defense. He rejects the screen quickly, and Al says, I'll take Rollins, you take Bobby Portis. Issue with this, right? It takes a second to execute this, and you have to communicate it. Will Richard is a rookie. Al Horford is a 19-year veteran or whatever. Not that long. I think it's like 07 draft. Probably close. Richard doesn't really realize it quick enough, or someone botches the coverage. Hield tries to come over, but again, that's Rollins' burst and decisiveness and like decision making. And again, it's nothing crazy, but I think the fact that he can just be like a basic facilitator is good, right? Like, you don't always need him to be doing a high level advantage creation off the dribble. He can just, Bobby Portis has Gary Payton GP2 switched on to him, get him in the restricted area, throw the ball, and let him just hook shot right over him. Like, that's how you get to eight assists and 1 turnover, right? Just being really decisive with your moves. And it's kind of crazy, like, the respect the Warriors showed Ryan Rollins. I think this was the first blitz I noted in my notes while I was watching this game, where the Warriors end second quarter like, fuck this shit. We're just sending 2 at the ball. Like, I'm tired of Ryan Rollins cooking us. And Rollins makes a nice pass. His pass accuracy is not amazing. I think his vision and like his processing are much better than his like accuracy on some of these. Then what a pass by Kuzma, who had an awesome game. The Bucks as a whole, just like playing really impressive basketball all of their players are kind of playing at their best right now. And it starts with Rollins, right? The Warriors are treating him like a star. Actually, this is the coverage for like stars and people who like totally cannot dribble or do anything. And obviously Ryan Rollins is not the latter of those, right? And he was playing like a star. I think it was cool that the Warriors kind of respected him like that. And we saw a good amount of trap in this game. I don't know why this clip is right here, but nice connective pass by Ryan Rollins. I don't know. Slight misordering maybe in this one, but he's a great off-ball passer too. Like obviously he's like a primary pick and roll player, but of course he plays on a Giannis Antetokounmpo team, right? And it's always useful to have like a bench initiator, but Rollins, was brought up as an off guard, right? Like playing next to Giannis, that's the thing. He's a complementary player, but if you can legit kind of continue to bring this pick and roll initiation, and this was like an underrated special play to me at the end of the game, and maybe it doesn't look like crazy special on first glance, but let me try to convince you right here, where Rollins kind of dribbles himself into trouble right here. Like, first of all, his handling against contact is so damn impressive, and Kuminga is a big physical defender pressing him, and Rollins just swipes with his off arm, goes behind the back, changes directions. Like, his ability to get to wherever he wanted was genuinely so impressive. But he like dribbles himself into traffic, Draymond with the really timely blitz, and like most players, this is a turnover. First of all, a nerd term you'll hear on the internet is proprioception, which basically is just like having an awareness of your surroundings and like where your body is positioned in space. This is the toe drag swag right here. And again, this is a deflection for Draymond Green in 99% of circumstances, but Rollins adjusts in midair and like twists to a sidearm, falling backwards to save that play, get it to Miles, who makes a huge play. And it's just little stuff like that to me showcase that Rollins has this like advanced feel that, I don't know, man, maybe this is just bullshit and we're getting too excited for nothing, but it really does feel like Rollins is blossoming into an ascending star just based on the last game or two. He's also awesome in the Knicks game as well, but I'm just gonna not get too ahead of myself and just keep watching the tape. And Rollins, I think he can be an effective driver because he's a dangerous pull-up shooter, and the Warriors were respecting his shooting threat. Now, Rollins hasn't always been like the most consistent shooter. He was good last year on pretty low volume, right? He's never been like a crazy shooter otherwise. He hasn't really played, right? So that was our first tiny sample of 800 minutes. But again, seems like he's definitely taken a leap, and his mid-range field goal attempts are up, and that makes sense that the field goal percentage is down, right? You'd expect that with more self-created volume. And this was a clutch dagger pull-up right here. The deceleration, the smooth fade, it just looks cool. Like it looks good. It just, if you've never watched, like a Bucks game before, and you've like never heard of Ryan Rollins, and you don't know who the good players in the league, like you're watching this guard take step back threes against Jimmy Butler to dagger the Warriors fully healthy without Giannis. It's like, oh yeah, that's what an all NBA player does, right? Like, oh yeah, taking crazy step back threes at the end of the game, punishing defenses for going under him. Like when the Warriors weren't like blitzing him, they're just trying to like soft switch here, and Rollins is like, oh, you're gonna give me space, I'm going to pull it. And his confidence, and by the way, this was of course a revenge game for Ryan Rollins, former Golden State Warrior. And man, he took full advantage. Gets Al Horford on a switch right there, and he's like, yeah, you're going to back off me. Notice the time and score as well right here. 2-point game, 4 minutes left. Al Horford, early in the clock too. It's like kind of a risky shot, but Rollins is pretty open right there. He steps back. He's feeling it, and yeah, I mean, it was just one of those nights for Ryan Rollins where it felt like literally everything he threw up was going to fall into the basket. And that isn't fully true. Shout out Al Horford, who is just a monster and perfect on this Warriors team. Late clock here does end up getting blocked. Had to show the low lights and, misses, to be fair, of course. This is an analysis. But, blocked at the end of the shot clock. It happens. And as I said with the kind of the earlier drives to the basket, even on some of these misses, creating good looks and playing at his own pace. Again, you can just see the control and he's not like going super fast right here. He's going slow to fast and using that change of speed like a veteran, frankly, even though this is only like his second season of real experience. He was awesome in college and in the G League, of course. So it's like he's obviously had plenty of basketball experience. And like we're talking about, he's a good off-ball shooter too. Like he's a great connector. He's a great ball mover. He'll like attack closeouts and swing when he's in that kind of role. And Part of that is because, yeah, if you kind of hand the ball off to Ryan Rollins and you just let this soft switch happen again, like the Warriors do, he's going to punish you with the under 3-pointer. And that was just at the beginning of the game. So maybe the Warriors weren't as worried as they should have been yet. And then once again, at the end of some of these clips, notice Ryan Rollins just hit a three. Job's not done. Now it's time to press Steph Curry. And another good thing about Rollins is like his transition early offense game as well. Good just like pull up mid-range jumper here over Jimmy Butler. It's like a really impressive shot making talent in this game. It was quite the sight to watch Ryan Rollins and the Kyle Kuzma Bucks. It was a Twilight Zone episode. It was truly crazy. And Rollins' speed is also a nice value add in transition, where I think this was after a made basket, or maybe it was just a rebound, but still, Rollins beats like all of the Warriors up the floor to the rim and ends up scoring. And, I think the Warriors' effort was just very poor. This was a classic trap game. Like, it was not what it needed to be, but Rollins certainly took advantage of that. And again, we see the speed where he has 4 Warriors to beat, but Rollins easily dusts Buddy Hield. Nobody comes in to help, and that's just taking advantage of bad defense, right? There's no shame in that. And like I said, didn't want to talk too much about defense, but yeah, he was chasing Steph Curry around pretty much all game, and his movement skills, and I think he's really good at like removing his hands and moving them and timing them around so he doesn't foul. Steph gets a bit of an advantage here, and Rollins kind of like moves his hands down, almost like he's swinging them up. He moves them away so Steph has nothing to like latch onto and foul bait. And then when Steph goes up with a shot, he moves them vertical and contests. Like really technically sound, as well as being obviously crazy in terms of movement skills. He's an awesome screen defender. We'll just like shoot around these double staggers. And, Steph will still make plenty of these because he's Steph. But Rollins is doing his best to make life difficult, right? And like even when Steph does get by him, he's always like in the vicinity, right? Trying to contest from behind, rear view, affect him in whatever way he can. And, sometimes, again, it's late clock. You're chasing Steph around a screen. You're going to run him off the line. You're going to make sure. And again, this is what the Bucks do as well a lot in this game. Like, they were funneling a lot of drives into help, and this time help did not come, unfortunately. I think this might actually be a Gary Trent Jr. miscommunication based on some of the other Bucks defense I've watched. And again, just full court pressing. He ends up fouling here, but this takes a ton of stamina and cardio and conditioning and energy, especially harboring the kind of offensive load and making clutch defensive plays here too. Again, this is funneling towards the middle help. This is what they were doing pretty much all day, right? Rollins is opening his hips towards the baseline, towards the sideline to funnel those drives to the middle, and then Miles steps up, beautiful help. Kuminga ends up not making that, and that was a good cap to what genuinely looked like an all-NBA guard tonight. I don't know if this Ryan Rollins will sustain, or if this is just a flash in the pan, if this is Rollins sanity, I don't know, but all I know is what I saw against the Warriors and what I saw against the Knicks as well the other night, where he didn't have the same kind of usage, but was still doing some nice stuff with the ball and was really good on Brunson as well in that game. But yeah, I don't even know what to say about Ryan Rollins. Like the creation on the ball, the pick and roll game, and I'm curious to see what happens. I really hope Kevin Porter Jr. coming back doesn't eat into his minutes. That would be very disappointing if it doesn't. I hope the goodwill Doc has built up at the beginning of this season holds through. But yeah, let me know what you think of Rollins, and I hope you have a great day or night. Again, like, comment, subscribe would be so appreciated.